inner peace, inner peace, inner, in inner peace, inner.
We all know a Master Shifu. In fact, if we are being honest with ourselves, most of us are Master Shifu. We are stressed. We are anxious. We are constantly trying to micromanage our lives, our careers, and our relationships. We live with the constant, nagging belief that if we just work hard enough, if we just worry enough, and if we just tighten our grip a little bit more, we can force the universe to do what we want. But in the world of Kung Fu Panda, this mindset isn't just annoying, it is dangerous. The movie argues that Shifu's need for control is actually the root of all the evil in the film. It was Shifu's need to control Tai Lung's destiny that created a monster. It was Shifu's need to control the dragon warrior selection that almost doomed the valley. And it is Shifu's inability to control himself that makes him miserable. Standing opposite him is Master Oogway. To the casual viewer, Oogway might just look like a slow, funny old turtle who speaks in riddles, but he is actually the physical embodiment of a philosophy that destroys anxiety. He represents the ancient Taoist concept of Wu Wei, effortless action. He teaches us that the only way to gain true power is to stop trying to have power over everything. Today we are analyzing the philosophy of the peach tree. We're going to look at why Shifu suffered, why Oogway smiled even when he died, and why you will never fulfill your destiny until you let go of the illusion of control. To understand the cure, we first have to understand the disease. And the disease is future-based anxiety. We see Master Shifu running up the stairs to the Jade Palace. He isn't walking, he is sprinting, out of breath, panicked. He yells,
Master! I have, it's very bad news.
Oogway is balancing on his staff, completely unbothered. His response is the first major philosophical lesson of the film.
Shifu, there is just news. There is no good or bad.
On the surface, this sounds dismissive, maybe even a little gaslighting. Tai Lung escaping sounds pretty bad, right? But Oogway is teaching stoicism. Events are neutral. It is our reaction to them that labels them good or bad. Shifu labels the news bad because it disrupts his plans. It threatens the future he has constructed in his head. Shifu is panicked because he is not living in the present moment. He is living in a hypothetical future where the valley is burning. His mind is racing with what ifs. What if the prison fails? What if he comes back? What if I can't stop him? Oogway brings him back to the present with a beautiful visual metaphor. They look into the moon pool. The reflection is jagged and broken because the water is shaking.
Your mind is like this water, my friend. When it is agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you allow it to settle, the answer becomes clear.
This is the perfect definition of anxiety. When we are anxious, our mind is agitated water. We cannot see the solution to our problems because we are too busy staring at the distortion caused by our own fear. We churn the water with our worry, and then we complain that we can't see the bottom. Oogway simply touches the water. He settles it, and suddenly the reflection of the dragon scroll appears. The lesson here is profound. Clarity does not come from thinking harder. Clarity comes from stopping the thought process long enough for the dust to settle. But Shifu doesn't listen. He is addicted to action. He believes that doing something is always better than doing nothing. Oogway tells him,
One often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it.
This is the most critical line in the movie regarding the paradox of control. Shifu hears the prophecy that Tai Lung might return. So, what does he do? He tries to control the outcome. He calls his messenger Zheng. He orders him to fly to Chorgam prison. He screams,
Zing! Fly to Chorgum prison and tell them to double the guards, double their weapons, double everything.
Shifu believes that if he just adds enough layers of security, enough control, he can prevent the bad thing from happening. But look at the irony. It was the messenger, Goose, the very embodiment of Shifu's anxiety, that dropped the feather. That single feather was the key that unlocked Tai Lung's restraints. If Shifu had done nothing, if Shifu had trusted Oogway and stayed calm, the messenger never would have gone to the prison. The feather never would have fallen. Tai Lung would still be chained up. Shifu's anxiety about the future is the exact mechanic that caused the future he was afraid of. This is a hard pill to swallow for those of us who are control freaks. We think our worry protects us. We think our over-planning prevents disaster. But Oogway argues that our desperate grasping often breaks the very thing we are trying to hold. By trying to force safety, Shifu created danger. By trying to avoid destiny, he accelerated it. This leads us to the catalyst of the film, the Dragon Warrior Selection Ceremony. Look at how Shifu has set this up. It is a masterpiece of control. He has trained the Furious Five since childhood. He has calculated the odds. He has drilled them on every move. In Shifu's mind, the outcome is a math equation. Training plus time equals Tigress is the Dragon Warrior. He has created a scenario where failure is statistically impossible. He has sanitized the environment of any variables. And then a fat panda falls out of the sky on a chair made of fireworks. Shifu's reaction is immediate denial. He screams,
That was just an accident!
Oogway smiles and delivers the thesis statement of his life.
There are no accidents.
Now, this is often misunderstood. Is Oogway saying that the universe is pre-written? Is he saying free will doesn't exist? No. He is saying that reality is reality. An accident is just a word we use when reality doesn't match our expectations. Shifu expected a tiger. He got a panda. Shifu expected order. He got chaos. Shifu looks at Po and sees a mistake. He sees an obstruction. He wastes his energy wishing Po wasn't there. He spends the first half of the movie trying to force Po to quit, trying to correct the mistake. Oogway looks at Po and sees a panda. He accepts the reality of the situation immediately. He doesn't waste a single calorie of energy wishing for Tigress. He works with what the universe has delivered. This is a massive mental health lesson. How much of our daily exhaustion comes from arguing with reality? I shouldn't be stuck in traffic, but you are. My boss shouldn't have said that, but he did. I shouldn't be this far behind in life, but you are. Oogway teaches us that arguing with reality is a fight you will lose 100% of the time. The panda is here. That is a fact. You can scream accident and make yourself miserable, or you can say okay and start training him. We now arrive at the heart of the video, the peach tree scene. If you only watch one scene from this franchise, make it this one. It is a perfect dialogue between anxiety, Shifu, and wisdom, Oogway. Shifu is spiraling. He's just finished trying to break Po. He is ranting.
Master, that panda is not the Dragon Warrior. He wasn't even meant to be here. It was an accident.
Oogway stops him. He delivers the diagnosis that cuts Shifu to the bone.
My old friend, the panda will never fulfill his destiny, nor you yours, until you let go of the illusion of control.
The illusion of control. Why is it an illusion? We control things all the time, don't we? We drive cars, we write emails, we pay bills. But Oogway uses the metaphor of the tree to explain the difference between influence and control. Shifu snaps. He yells,
But there are things we can't control. I can control when the fruit will fall. And I can control where to plant the seed. Hiya!
He physically attacks nature. He smashes a peach. He punches a hole in the ground. He is trying to dominate the world into submission. Oogway agrees, but with a catch.
Ah, yes. But no matter what you do, that seed will grow to be a peach tree. You may wish for an apple or an orange, but you will get a peach.
This is the metaphor for parenting, teaching, and loving. It explains exactly why Shifu failed with Tai Lung and why he is failing with Po. Oogway is telling Shifu, stop trying to change the nature of the thing. Nurture what is actually there. You can water the seed. You can give it sunlight. You can protect it from bugs. That is your job. That is your influence. But you cannot reach inside the seed and force it to grow faster. And you cannot force a peach seed to become an apple tree just because you really want an apple. Shifu's anxiety comes from the gap between reality, the peach, and expectation, the apple. The conversation ends with the ultimate test of Shifu's growth. Oogway decides to leave. Shifu panics.
Master!
Shifu is terrified of being alone. He doesn't trust himself. He relies on Oogway to be his safety net. As long as Oogway is there, Shifu feels like there is a backup plan. Oogway knows this. He knows that as long as he stays, Shifu will never step up. Shifu will never become the master he needs to be. Oogway says,
You must believe.
And then he dies. In most movies, death is a struggle. Villains fight it. Heroes resist it. They are all terrified of the end because the end represents the ultimate loss of control. Oogway accepts the end. He doesn't scream. He doesn't look scared. He looks up at the sky, surrounded by the peach blossoms he loves, and he simply,
My time has come.
He trusts the universe enough to leave it. He trusts Shifu enough to leave him with a mess, Po, and a threat, Tai Lung. He doesn't need to see the end of the story to know that it will be okay. Oogway understands that he is not the main character of the universe. He is just a gardener. He planted the seed. Now he has to let it grow. After Oogway is gone, Shifu initially fails. He tries to be Oogway, but he can't. He is still trying to force Po to do traditional training. He is still trying to turn the peach into an orange. It isn't until Shifu walks into the kitchen and sees Po eating the cookies on the top shelf that the lesson finally clicks. Shifu sees Po do a perfect split. He sees agility, he sees focus, but he sees it motivated by food. In the past, Shifu would have yelled at Po for stealing cookies. He would have shamed him for being gluttonous. But this time, Shifu remembers the peach tree. You may wish for an apple, but you will get a peach. Shifu realizes, I cannot force him to train like Tigress. I have to train him like a panda. He adapts his teaching to the student. He stops fighting Po's nature and starts using it, and he trains Po through his appetite. And guess what? It works. In a matter of days, Po becomes a master. The moment Shifu let go of his rigid idea of what Kung Fu should look like, he unlocked the potential of what Kung Fu could be. The illusion of control was broken, and the Dragon Warrior was born. The movie ends with Shifu finally finding peace. Not because he defeated Tai Lung, Po did that, but because he finally stopped fighting reality. He accepted the panda. He accepted the chaos. He accepted that he cannot control everything. In the final shot of the movie, we see Shifu just sitting there next to Po. He isn't meditating to escape reality. He is meditating in reality. We all have a Tai Lung in our lives, a problem we are scared of. We all have a Po, a situation that isn't what we wanted it to be. And we all have a Shifu, a voice in our head screaming that we need to fix everything right now. But Master Oogway reminds us that anxiety is just the refusal to accept the present moment. You cannot control the future. You cannot change the past. You can only plant the seed today, water it, and trust that it will grow. So if you are feeling anxious today, take a look at your water. Is it agitated? Maybe it's time to stop kicking the tree. Maybe it's time to stop wishing for an apple. Maybe it's time to just eat the peach. What is the biggest illusion of control you are holding on to right now? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found peace in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the philosophy of animation.